Civil rights groups are outraged over efforts in Texas to verify voters' citizenship and are now suing the state. One America's Pearson Sharp has the details.
Civil rights groups and Democrats are up in arms over plans in Texas to remove non-citizens from its list of registered voters. Democrats are teaming up with the ACLU to sue the state of Texas over its citizenship review following the discovery that potentially 95,000 non-citizens were registered to vote in the state. Despite the obvious threat to voting integrity posed by having non-citizens registered to vote, a group of civil and voting rights organizations are fighting back against efforts to verify voters' citizenship. These groups are now suing the state's chief elections officers as well as local election officials in 5 counties. They argue the efforts to review voter citizenship are unconstitutional, claiming they intentionally target naturalized citizens and voters of color. They go on to claim election officials are not only violating the Constitution, but they're also discriminating against people of color by calling on counties to check on their citizenship records. Responding to the discovery in January, Texas Secretary of State David Whitley vowed the lists would be cleaned up immediately, claiming his office would use every tool available to protect the accuracy of future elections. To do that, officials will use information from the Department of Public Safety to check the voter registration database and locate potential non-citizens who are registered to vote. If a non-citizen is identified, they'll be required to provide proof of citizenship if they want to stay registered, including a birth certificate or U.S. passport. It's not clear how any of that violates the Constitution, however, as voters are not being targeted based on their race, but simply by whether or not they're legal U.S. citizens. This is the 3rd lawsuit filed against the state since January 25th, and further review of the state's initial lists has raised questions over how many of the 95,000 suspected voters were indeed non-citizens. According to reports from the Secretary of State's office, potentially tens of thousands of voters were mistakenly included and were actually citizens when they registered to vote. In the meantime, election officials have already begun mailing out notices asking for voters to reply with proof of citizenship within 30 days. Republican Governor Greg Abbott said he was pleased with how the investigation was proceeding, claiming it proved that maintaining voter rolls helps protect the integrity of elections. He also promised to take any action necessary to safeguard against illegal voting. Pearson Sharp, One America News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.